It's morphin' time!
He's a terrifying enemy of G.I. Joe. Destro is his name. Destro is his name. American hero, fighting evil Destro.
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome back to another G.I. Joe Classified Series review. Today, taking a look at 03 Destro. I'm so excited for this figure. Destro is by far my favorite G.I. Joe character. He's not a G.I. Joe, I mean just the franchise. Joe character-wise, we'll get into that later, but of characters in the G.I. Joe universe, Destro is by far my favorite. And because of that, I was so stoked that he was not only in Wave 1, but that he looked this good. I'm ready to get this packaging segment over with to go ahead and get him out of the package. So this guy is general retail release, and part of Wave 1. He's the only Cobra in Wave 1. There are many more Cobras coming. Cobra Commander, Red Ninja, and Storm Shadow are on the way in the next batch this fall, plus another variant of Destro, which we'll take a look at when they come out. But this box is cool because it's actually got a red backdrop for Cobra, so it's actually different, slightly different coloring-wise for Cobra, including the Cobra symbol up here. But it does retain the blue for a packaging consistency. But taking a look at the side here, nice wraparound of Destro's head, as well as this really cool artwork where the Cobra logo matches up to Destro's collar, which I never even realized was an intentional design feature until I saw this artwork and was like, that's brilliant. So he's displayed there. On the back, it is the same packaging art we've seen with everybody. And of course, on the side, we've got our classified symbols. Now, these are the symbols that can be decoded on the GIJoe.com website, which recently relaunched, and it allows you a sneak peek into the abilities, skills, and such for the character. So, Destro's role is Mechanical Engineer. He is a level 4, making him special. Also of note, the middle symbols are the same between G.I. Joe and Cobra, but the outer symbols are different for each faction. His loadout is light weapons level 1, which, I mean, that makes sense. He's got a couple guns, and he has wrist rockets. Not super crazy stuff. His skill is Black Market level 3. Black Market being an interesting thing is I don't think any G.I. Joes are going to have that ability, just Cobras, and I imagine that Zartan and maybe some of the Dreadnoks will have that. And then the last one is his Mastery, which is Weapons Development, and that's also a level 4. So Destro, pretty amazing. He keeps falling over because Amazon crushed the box a little bit. But I'm so stoked to get this figure out of the package, to review him, so let's get to it. Here we have Destro. Now Destro, of course, is one of the most iconic G.I. Joe characters, having appeared in almost every incarnation of the animated series, as well as, technically both live-action films. So he has made his way around. He debuted in 1983, had prominent roles in comics, in shows, in movies. He is one of the most iconic characters, and, honestly, I'd say maybe even more iconic than Cobra Commander. Or that's just a little biased because Destro is my favorite character of the G.I. Joe universe, especially from the Cobra side. So this was really exciting for me to see Destro in Wave 1, let alone having, not having to wait years for him to be made. It's pretty amazing. Now, looking at the figure itself, it is very much a modern design that is heavily inspired by the classic design. Classic Destro very much was wearing, black suit, has rocket launchers on his wrists, of course the metal head that is so iconic to the character, but he also had the open shirt with the big collar, which they've done here incredibly well. I actually was really surprised they went this way, because some of the more modern incarnations have had his shirt buttoned up a bit, but they actually did have what looks like an actual exposed chest under there, which is pretty cool. So you can see basically the studs of the mask, the face itself, the way the eyes are painted. The head itself is a very shiny metallic paint without being chrome, so it still has that reflectiveness without being easily chippable. And the necklace is actually a separate piece that does move around, which is pretty cool. And yeah, the nice paintwork on these figures really shows on a figure like Destro. And yeah, much like Snake Eyes, or at least much like the deluxe Snake Eyes, they kind of broke up the black by adding in some brown and some gray to kind of give it a little bit more texture and detail, which I really appreciate. You can see his wrist rocket launcher on there, as well as a lot of pouches around the holster. And this holster is attached to the belt. So if you were trying to remove this, if you didn't want to cut that, you could remove the holster and the belt, but it does keep the holster in place even when turning the leg. So that's pretty nice. Overall, I think, you know, universally speaking, I think Snake Eyes and Destro were the most well received out of the gate, and it really shows. And I'm so excited to have this figure in hand. So let's take a look at the articulation. So we've got standard, well, what has now become standard for the line, which is ball joint neck that tilts up and down, in addition to a second neck joint, which they actually did keep that same flesh tone color. So it's actually painted there underneath, so the actual bottom ball joint doesn't break up the look of the neck, which I think is amazing. He's got a forward ab crunch, a pretty far back ab crunch. He's got that same kind of waist joint that, you know, turns but also tilts left and right pretty nicely. Shoulders that move out, forward and back, 360, bicep, double jointed elbow, wrist that pivots down and up and turns. I think this one is also a pivot, so it's not like Duke where they're opposite. Hips that move all the way out, they come down, they pull forward, thigh swivel, double jointed knee, that's amazing. It's honestly pretty impressive for a domestic figure. And boot swivel, forward pivot, back pivot, side to side pivot. So he's got all kinds of articulation, but what good is articulation without accessories? Right now I can't get him to stand. There we go. First accessory we have is Destro's pistol. Now, this line has had criticisms of having too much gold, which I actually do understand, but I feel like this works for Destro, because he is kind of that kind of guy. Silver head, gold gun, gold necklace, kind of all flows together. The gun holsters nicely on his leg, and it doesn't feel tight enough to actually rub the paint, so hopefully over time that'll still keep the paint good and still hold it securely. He also includes another gun, reminiscent of his original 80s weapon. It's really nicely painted. I love the red accents, and the scope on it looks pretty cool. While I do like the gold pistol, I kind of find myself using this gun more with this figure. His final accessory is a briefcase with a Cobra emblem on it. Now, briefcases with Destro and Baroness seems to be a thing just after a certain point in time. They always seem to come with briefcases, so it's pretty cool. It's actually got the Cobra logo molded on the back of it, but it is painted on the front, and it's pretty amazing and would look really cool just on its own. However, it does open up to reveal what could either be money or motherboard chips on the top, and then on the bottom having a keyboard, a screen, and a nice Cobra emblem. It's really nicely detailed, really nicely painted, easy to open, easy to close, a couple little latches. The only thing that worries me is this hinge in the middle is kind of a plastic I feel like could stress over time. But other than that, it looks really nice and has a lot of display options. I was going to do a size comparison with Destro and the Joes here, but it kind of broke out into an all-out standoff, so we're going to let that settle before we take a look. Destro does seem a little outnumbered at the moment, but yeah, Wave 2 seems to be giving him some allies. So as you can see here, Destro is, you know, in the same scale as the rest of the line. He's roughly the same height as Snake Eyes and Duke, you know, a little shorter than Roadblock, a little taller than Scarlet. You know, they're all around the same size in the proper proportions. So overall, Destro is a fantastic action figure. And I don't just say that as him being my favorite character from the G.I. Joe universe, but from the fact he's a great action figure. He's got the demanding look that Destro always commands. He's got a modern twist on a classic design. And he is just so impressive looking that he made a huge impact. He was revealed by himself, and I think made more of an impact than Duke, Scarlet, and Roadblock did when they got revealed. So I think overall, this is definitely one to get. He's one per case, so best of luck. If you aren't able to find this version and want a version that looks a little crazier, there is a Prophet Director Destro coming out as a fan channel exclusive later this year, which of course we'll be taking a look at on this channel. And yeah, that pretty much does it for Wave 1 in a way. There's one more figure release that is a retail release version of Snake Eyes, and we'll be doing a video on that hopefully soon. That video is going to be mostly comparison, but in terms of brand new figures, this is the last one from Wave 1 to look at. That being said, Wave 2 is coming up in the fall, and we got several figures coming out in between, so stay tuned for that. I'm very, very excited for the future of this line, and I can't wait to get more of it. It's just hitting me perfectly between that character and action figure quality. So that does it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, and the notification bell to keep up with future uploads on this channel. Got lots of things planned. Probably just going to be pumping out videos for a bit. I'm thinking doing more shorter content instead of long form content, just to make workload a little bit easier on me. And so I hope you enjoy that. Leave a comment down below if you have something to say, and check out our graphic designer Darkclaw on Twitter, Darkclaw643, and check out Hero Club at hero-club.com for news, interviews, reviews, and more. Until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.